Imagine standing at the starting line of a marathon. The early morning air is crisp, filled with anticipation. The runners around you stretch. Their nervous energy is infectious. As you take deep breaths, your heart rate elevates and your muscles tense. You're ready for action. The starting gun is about to fire, and this moment of heightened awareness, you're experiencing a myriad of neurochemical processes orchestrated by the neurotransmitter dopamine. Dopamine is actively shaping your perception of the challenge ahead. Each surge of excitement, moment of doubt, and flash of anticipated triumph all intimately tie to the ebb and flow of dopamine in your neural circuits. As you visualize crossing the finish line, dopamine molecules spring into action across your brain. They're not just chemical messengers of pleasure or reward. They're sophisticated modulators of your motivation, decision-making, and perception of reality in that very moment. A study published in Science in 1997 used single-cell recordings in monkeys to demonstrate that dopamine neurons don't just respond to rewards, but to the prediction of rewards. The researchers found that dopamine neurons fired in response to novel, unexpected rewards. But as the monkeys learned to associate a cue with a reward, the dopamine response shifted to the cue itself. This study revolutionized our understanding of dopamine's role in the brain. It suggested that dopamine isn't just about pleasure, it's about learning and prediction. As you stand at the starting line, your brain isn't just anticipating the joy of finishing, it's using dopamine to calculate the probability of success, the effort required, and the potential satisfaction of the achievement. The dopamine cascade orchestrates a symphony of neural activity, modulating your attention, influencing your decision-making, affecting your motor control, and even shaping your perception of time and effort. A study published in Current Biology in 2016 found that dopamine can actually modulate our perception of time. Their researchers used optogenic techniques in mice to show that activating dopamine neurons could make animals act as if time were passing more quickly. This could explain why time seems to fly when we're engaged in rewarding activities, or why the moment before a race starts might feel stretched out and hyper-real. But dopamine's influence goes even deeper, extending to the very physical nature of your brain. The signaling cascades initiated by dopamine can influence neuroplasticity, altering the strength and formation of connections between neurons. To learn more about neuroplasticity, you can click here to watch my video about it. A study published in Science in 2014 demonstrated that dopamine signaling can create precise time windows for strengthening synapses in the striatum, a key part of the brain's reward system. The researchers used advanced imaging techniques to show that dopamine release could strengthen specific synapses, but only if the release occurred within a narrow time window after the synapse was activated. This means that as you prepare for and run your marathon, the dopamine released isn't just affecting your current experience, it's influencing your brain at a fundamental level, strengthening neural pathways associated with motivation, perseverance, and physical endurance. Each time you push through a difficult training session, each small victory along the way, dopamine was there, helping to encode these experiences into your neural circuitry. This seemingly simple act of running a race is actually remodeling your brain, influencing how you'll perceive and react to all future challenges in your life. The effort you put in, the obstacles you overcome, the triumph you feel, all these experiences are sculpting your brain to be more resilient, more motivated, and more capable of taking on future challenges. And here's the most remarkable part. Your thoughts, your level of preparation, and your state of consciousness are also influencing this entire process. The more you've trained, the more you visualize success, the more powerfully dopamine can enhance your performance. This bi-directional relationship between consciousness and dopamine function is supported by research. A study published in Neuroimage in 2013 found that individuals could learn to voluntarily increase activity in their dopamine-rich substantial nigra through neurofeedback training. The researchers used real-time fMRI to provide participants with visual feedback of activity in their substantial nigra. Over time, participants learned to increase brain activity in this brain region just by thinking about it. This is the true nature of dopamine. It's not a reward chemical in your brain, but it's an architect of motivation and reality, shaping your lived experience and your biology. Let's explore the evidence in even more depth. The 2016 study published in Psychological Science used a combination of pharmacology and brain imaging to show how dopamine influences our willingness to exert cognitive effort. The researchers administered the ADHD medication Ritalin, which increases dopamine levels to some participants, while others received a placebo pill. All participants then performed a task where they could choose between an easy, low-reward option and a difficult, high-reward option. The results were staggering. Participants who received the dopamine-enhancing drug were significantly more likely to choose the difficult, high-reward option. Brain imaging showed that this effect was linked to increased activity in the striatum and prefrontal cortex, key areas in the brain's motivation and decision-making circuits. This research aligns perfectly with our understanding of dopamine as the architect of motivation. Each dopamine interaction is a moment of motivational calibration, integrating information about potential rewards, required effort, and our current psychological state to guide our behavior. Consider how your perception of a challenge can dramatically shift depending on your motivational state. A mountain that seems insurmountable when you're tired or discouraged might feel like an exciting opportunity after you've taken a little Ritalin. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a reflection for how dopamine is shaping your perceptual and cognitive process. A study published in Nature in 2008 demonstrated that dopamine plays a crucial role in the consolidation of motor memories. The researchers trained mice to run on a rotorod and then used genetic techniques to selectively eliminate dopamine signaling in the primary motor cortex. The results were clear. Without dopamine signaling, the mice were unable to retain the motor skills they had learned. Even though they could perform well immediately after training, they showed no improvement over multiple days of practice. This suggests that dopamine release in the motor cortex is necessary for the long-term stabilization of motor skills. This means that the satisfaction you feel upon mastering a new skill is not a fleeting emotion. It's a signal that's actively shaping your brain's motor circuits. Each time you practice and improve, dopamine is there, helping to solidify those neural pathways and make the skill automatic. Interestingly, a study published in the Journal of Neuroscience in 2012 showed that individual differences in dopamine function in the striatum and ventromedial prefrontal cortex were associated with differences in motivation for reward. The researchers used PET imaging to measure dopamine function in participants' brains and then had them perform a task where they could choose between easy, low-reward options and difficult, high-reward options. They found that participants with higher dopamine function in the striatum and ventromedial prefrontal cortex were willing to expend more effort for larger rewards. This suggests that our baseline dopamine function might play a role in determining our general level of motivation and drive. Now let's delve deeper into dopamine's role in learning and memory. A seminal study published in Nature Reviews Neuroscience in 2005 proposed a model where dopamine acts as a gating mechanism for long-term memory formation. According to their model, dopamine release signals the importance of information, instructing the hippocampus to store that information as long-term memory. This could explain why we tend to remember emotionally charged or rewarding experiences more vividly than boring, mundane ones. It's not just about the emotional intensity of the experience itself, but how that experience triggers our dopamine release, which in turn tells our brain, this is important, let's remember this. Furthermore, research has shown that dopamine plays a significant role in cognitive flexibility, our ability to adapt our behavior in response to changing circumstances. A study published in Science in 2011 found that dopamine levels in the striatum were associated with cognitive flexibility in reversal learning tasks. In our model, dopamine acts as a crucial modulator of learning and adaptability, effectively tuning our cognitive processes to meet the demands of our environment. This could explain why states of heightened motivation or engagement can lead to enhanced learning and problem-solving abilities. Perhaps the most exciting aspect of dopamine's role in shaping our reality is its potential for conscious modulation. By understanding and working with our dopamine system, we may be able to enhance our own motivation, improve our own learning capabilities, and potentially trigger heightened states of focus and performance from our own minds. A meta-analysis published in Neuroscience and Behavioral Reviews in 2019 found that certain dopaminergic drugs could enhance cognitive function in healthy individuals, particularly in the domains of working memory and cognitive control. As we look into the future, exciting new research tools are opening up new possibilities for understanding and potentially modulating the dopaminergic system. A study in Science in 2018 introduced a new technique for imaging dopamine dynamics in the living brain with unprecedented spatial and temporal resolution. The researchers developed a genetically encoded fluorescent sensor that can detect dopamine release in real time. The sensor is called D-Light1, and it can be expressed in specific neurons and allows researchers to visualize dopamine signaling as it happens in the living brain. This technology offers a level of precision and detail that was previously impossible to achieve. Even more intriguing, a study published in Scientific Reports in 2019 demonstrated that transcranial magnetic stimulation could modulate dopamine release in the human brain. The researchers used PET imaging to show that TMS applied to the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex led to dopamine release in the striatum. This finding is particularly exciting because they literally zap the brain to increase dopamine. TMS is already used in clinical settings to treat conditions like depression, and this research opens up the possibility of using it to enhance dopamine function in a targeted manner. As we conclude our exploration of dopamine's true nature, remember that while our understanding is growing, there's still much left to discover, and part of it is us doing our own research. Remember, while you are influenced by your biology, you also have the power to influence it in return. By understanding and working with your dopamine system, you're taking a step towards optimizing your motivational drive and potentially expanding your capacity for pioneering your human evolution. This understanding puts a profound power in your hands. It suggests that through conscious effort and targeted practices, we may be able to enhance our motivational drive, improve our learning capabilities, increase our cognitive flexibility, and perhaps even expand our perception of reality itself. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the nature of dopamine. Until next time, keep pioneering human evolution. I'm Elon Muscular with the Genius Protocol. Peace.